Hello. Welcome back. We start with graph traversal and searches. This is a topic which we have already covered in our DSA days. If you want to actually recap and rejog your memories, please feel free to browse through that lecture. The lecture link will be going at the top right corner of your screen right now. But we are trying to cover this portion of the syllabus, which is particularly related to the depth first search and breadth first search. We have already covered transitive closure, topological sorting, everything about graphs, trees in the last lecture. That one you can visit the playlist and have a view. We will talk about traversals today, searches, and then the commonly asked questions. Traversals would mean the various kinds of traversals that is possible. So let's get into the traversal first. It means that what is the way in which we can actually navigate around this graph, right? So we can actually go level by level like this, or we can go through this kind of a manner where we go the depth first route rather than the breadth first route. So the level by level is called as the breadth first route. In that we will go from this level, we will get A, so we will visit A. From this level we will get B and C, we will visit B and C. Sorry, we are talking about this now. And from this level we will get D and D, so we'll do D and D here. So this is what we talked about, that is level by level, A, B, C, and then D, A, B, C, and D. But if we go like this, from A I will go down, I will keep going down to my left till I don't get anybody. So I keep going down, that is I go down to B, right, and I will take B. We are talking about this now. Okay, I'll take B, I will go down and I'll take this. And if I don't get anybody here, then I will backtrack. And then go to the right. I will backtrack and then go to the right to get to my E. And then I don't get anything, I will backtrack. This is already visited, go to the right, take C, and that's what this particular navigation is actually called, which is in some cases, or in our case, this will be called as the depth first search. So the first one that we talked about, where we went level by level, is called the breadth first search. We are trying to go like this, and in the second one we are trying to go like this till we don't get till we go to a leaf node, and that's where it is called as the depth first search. So that's on the traversal. So we talked about breadth first search. Let's go through that. Breadth first search uses first in first out, and it uses a queue, right? So this has come multiple times in terms of what data structure will you use to actually do a breadth first search, right? So let's take this as an example. And when I create the adjacency list, then A is connected to B and C, right? So I put A here and then the connections here. I talked about the 2D array that you have to create for adjacency list. Please have a look at my last video if you want, in order to understand this adjacency list concept, right? So A will be connected to B and C, therefore you will create this 2D array like this, where this will be your total number of nodes or vertices that are there in your graph or tree, and this will be the total number of edges that it is connected to, the number of edges that it is connected to, or names of the edges that it is connected to. A is connected to B and C, B is connected to D and D, and the rest of them are not connected anywhere. Now the BFS traversal will be simply this and this, that's all, right? So A, B, C coming from here, and the B, D coming from here, which is DE coming from here, because B is already visited, so you will take only D and D. B is already visited from here, so you'll only take D and D. So if you traverse the adjacency list and don't print the visited matrices or nodes, then you will get your breadth first search. So that is level by level. So this level has B and C. So this level is A, I print A. This level has B and C, I print B and C. This level has D and E, I will print D and E. So that is how this BFS traversal will come. All the vertices have been visited once, all the edges have been visited once, right? Or again I'll say, all the vertices have been visited once. You have to go to A. From A you have to use this edge to go to B. So what are you doing? You're visiting this vertex, but you're also visiting this edge. So all the vertices are visited once, all the edges are visited once. Therefore the order is order of V plus E, where every vertex and every E are processed at least once. So that is the time complexity that you will need from a breadth first search perspective. Now if you see the algorithm, and if you remember the graph that we were talking about here, just remember this graph. My bad that I didn't put this graph, or let me draw this graph. It will just take a matter of minutes, right? So let me draw this graph here. My graph looks like this: A, then I have a BC, then I have a CD. That's all my graph looks like. Sorry, DE, I think. Yeah, DE. So from here, if I start creating a queue, right? Let's create a queue. Now in the queue, I will enqueue first A. I'll visit A. That means I will enqueue A. So I'm talking about a queue here, and in this queue, I have enqueued A. Now the second step will be whatever is in the queue, whatever. So enqueue is getting happening, right? So we are taking graph V and vertex X as the algorithm, and we are saying the enqueue is happening for that particular node that we have not visited. Now this will be written to the queue. After the node is written to the queue, we will dequeue whatever is written to the queue, right? So we will dequeue the queue, or rather we'll dequeue the queue. Now this A could be written at a later point in the queue also. Right now the queue is empty. It is written in the first place. It will be dequeued also. But this this A could have gone to any place, right? So the point is that we will queue whatever we are encountering, and then we will dequeue the first element of the queue and mark that as visited. We'll dequeue that and mark that as visited. So this will dequeue A and mark A as visited, and that's where your visited node output becomes A. But at the same time, we will dequeue A, visit A, and we will enqueue whatever A is connected to. Whatever A is connected to, that means the adjacent vertices will do a loop, and we will enqueue all the adjacent vertices that is not visited. All the adjacent vertices that is not visited. So we will enqueue all the adjacent vertices that is not visited. B and C are adjacent vertices which are not visited, right? So I will enqueue B and C. So my queue will now look like B is enqueued, C is enqueued, right? So now the step is to go back and do what? To go back and do that same process of dequeue, right? You remember we dequeued A, after we put it, we dequeued. Now we have put B and C, we will dequeue. So we will dequeue what? B, right? So my visited node output will look like AB, right? So we will dequeue B, visit B, and enqueue D and D, right? So once my queue operation is done, which is B is dequeued, then I am in a position to take the next level of nodes in order, because that level of node is already taken off. It's in the queue. It will be processed, right? The next level, let's take it, which is D and D. So all the adjacent nodes for that particular matrix that we are trying to right now take, right, which is B. We have taken out B. So if we have taken out B, that is visited B, dequeued V, taken out V, then we have to find out the adjacent vertices, right? So if we have taken out B, what is adjacent to B? D and D. So let's put D and D out, right? So now my queue will look that B is already taken out, C is there, right? So C is there. So C will be there, D and E will be there, right? Because the adjacencies of B is C and D and D. So D and D now comes here, and then we are supposed to dequeue C. So we will dequeue C from here. So my next step is there any adjacency for C? Is there any adjacency for C, that one which we have dequeued just now? There is no adjacency for C, right? If there is no adjacency for C, then I will keep on dequeuing, right, until I get an adjacency that is already left. So my D and E will now mean that I will dequeue D. I will dequeue D means this will be my visited sequence. Now is my D having any adjacency? Is my D having any adjacency? D doesn't have any adjacency, right? So therefore I will go to E, right? Then this E will be dequeued, and this E, does it have any adjacency? It doesn't have. Therefore this queue will become empty, and this will be my final output. So that is your breadth first search, right? So that is your breadth first search until you get your queue empty. The right hand side algorithm I have just explained as we went along the way. I hope you have understood this. Next, we talk about depth first search. Depth first search, unlike breadth first search, will use a stack, right? And we will say this. So what we are saying is go to B and visit B. Go first, start with A, visit A. Go to B, visit B. Go to D, visit D. What am I doing? Going left, 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 right? And then I can't go further left. I can't go this. So I will go backtrack, go to the right. Go to the right and take E. Then go back, these are all visited, so go to the right now, take C. That is your depth first search. What did we do? We visited all the nodes and we visited all the edges. That's why this will also have an order of V plus E as the time complexity. Now if I take this same algorithm, let me draw the graph again. A, B, C, D, E. And then we are saying that we will take a stack, and first we will push the first vertex inside the stack, right? So we will take the first vertex, push it inside the stack, and we will pop this out. Again, this could have been not the first element in the stack, so it could be popping some other element, but right now it will pop only A. So it will pop only A out, and that A is what I will write. Now again the same thing. For A, what are the adjacencies of A? I will write it in the reverse order, right? What are the adjacencies of A? For A, because I popped out A, for whatever are the adjacencies, right? I will call the DFS algorithm again. It's a recursive algorithm, I'll call it again. So what are the adjacencies? Adjacencies of A is B and C, but I will write it in the reverse order because I want the print to come in the reverse order. Right, so if I want the print to come like A, B, C, like that in that order, then I will push it into the stack in the reverse order from left to right. That means from right to left, that order is what I will consider these adjacencies. So A has an adjacency of C and B and not B and C. So that's what I have written, B and C here. Right, next step will be to create. So we will pop B. Means AB will be printed. A was printed earlier, now B has been printed. Therefore, now we will get into this. And here we will say that we are now into, we have popped B. So whatever were the adjacencies of B have to be pushed into the stack. What is the adjacencies of B? D and D. So C was here and D and D will be pushed in the reverse order, that is E and B. And then, E and D. And then you will be popping D, that is the topmost element, right? If you pop D, then D gets printed. Is there any adjacency for D? No, right? So there is no adjacency for D, so this remains as E and C. So you will be popping E. Now when you are at E, at that time you have popped E. Is there any adjacency for E? No, so you have just C left, and then you will pop this C out. And then you have a stack which is empty, and therefore you are done. Your loop will stop here. You have an empty stack. So that's how you do it. So this step would have produced E here, and this step C would have produced C here, and that's your A, B, D, E, C as the depth first search algo that we are actually trying to say would be the output of this particular tree. So that's how you do depth first search. And in between the comparisons of depth first search and breadth first search, we are aware that it is using queue, stack. This goes level wise, depth wise. This is iterative, this is recursive. We have done a recursive algorithm just now. This is the shortest path is used to be found through depth first search. Breadth first search is used from a shortest path perspective. Next lectures we will see that memory is higher for a breadth first search because the search for going down, like if you go down like this, this height is going to be of the order of log n, and that is what the order of a depth first search, right? So because of this breaking down the tree by half in terms of a binary tree or whatever, we are breaking down, we are dividing the tree, and that's where it goes down means it goes the number of levels you know from your DSA as well as DA days, that it is going to be an order of log n. However, if you go through this process of these trees in the level wise order, right? Level wise order, then typically for a large tree we could say that the last level is order of n by 2, right? We can say that the last level is order of n by 2. So if I'm actually searching at the last level, right, I could be traversing order of n by 2, that is n by 2 number of times as the number of nodes that I have. I could be coming here by traversing n by 2 number of comparisons, which means that that asymptotically this will be written as order of n. Asymptotically, this will be written as order of n. Now compare these two, which is order of log n versus order of n, and then you can understand why am I saying the memory is higher and the memory is lower as far as this is concerned, right? So to store and to actually use that in the search process, you would require that many number of auxiliary memories, which is why we are talking about order of log n versus order of n in terms of the complicacies. So that's on the depth first search. We use it for shortest path. It is used for topological sort, connectivity. Depth first search is used for that. Now in terms of the questions that have come, very simple questions from this chapter. We have DFS uses. We know it uses a stack. We have discussed it just now. We have discussed the algorithms for the depth first traversal. We have done this algorithm. The same thing I have written here. This algorithm along with the complexity. Complexity I have explained. Then which of the following is used for traversal? Traversal where? Traversal in a BFS. So BFS, as you know, uses a queue. So the queue will be the answer for this. Breadth first search, the algorithm, the explanation, all of that is coming multiple times. We have explained just now the algorithms and the explanation as well as the complexity. So that is also done. In an undirected graph, what is the time required to generate all the connected components? So undirected graph with n vertices, e edges, everything has to be visited, n has to be visited, edge has to be visited. So it is always going to be order of e plus n. Here also the same question has come in a different manner. Order of v plus e will be the answer here, right? Comparison we have already done just now. Level order traversal, you know, level order traversal means you are going by levels. You are going like this. What is that called? That is called breadth first search. Describe the depth first search algorithm for the given graph. Explain its time complexity. Now if you see this graph, then this graph says that, okay, let me blow this up a bit. This graph says that I am at u, so I will push you into the stack. So from you, where can I go? We are talking depth first search, right? We will go till we don't get any further neighbors, any further adjacency list. So we'll go to u. From u, I will go to v. From u, I will go to v, right? From v, I will go to y, and from y, I will go to x. And from x, I only can go to my visited nodes, so these are not going to be taken. This side of the graph is disconnected as far as this depth first search is concerned. So that is something that you may need to write, that the input graph, once it does all of this, the unvisited u and w and z will be unvisited because there is no connections in this particular way that you started. If you start from here, of course, there can be a different solution. Depth first search will always have a different solution depending on where you start from, right? So we are starting naturally from u, because again the methodology or the blind rule is that take it in the alphabetical order or in the sequence of numbers to start it, and that's where your depth first search for this particular answer will be u v y x. You can see this process. I have explained this process in the earlier example. It is the same thing, same way that we need to do. Compare, contrast, BFS, DFS. I think I already did that here. Yeah, compare, contrast. I think it's a repetition, but then you can use this also. I think this came 2 times. That's why I repeated it. I should have mentioned it at the top. But that's all that comes from breadth first search. Depth first search in terms of traversal. An unknown graph may be given. You will be asked to do the depth first, breadth first of it. I've explained you how to use the stack to do it and how to use a queue to also do it in case it is a breadth first search. Right. So that's typically what I wanted to cover. Till the time we meet next for Prims and Kruskal's, happy learning.